All right. Okay. Here we are. Let's get cracking here. See here, new. Video editing, yeah. Okay. And then, I just drag and drop, I forget. Oh, can I? Oh, I can. Fantastic. Oh, this is a big boy here. Okay. Alright. Oh, it just starts. There it goes. Okay. Let's line this up. That. And then around there. End the video. Oh my god. Oh geez. I'm getting some live numbers in. I'm getting the stats in live. I haven't live streamed in a very long time, so if you're just joining, welcome. I have just begun. I figured if someone might get a kick out of watching some stuff live. I don't know. Okay, that's fine like that. Okay, now we will render this to an image sequence. That's what I'm doing here. I'm just making I'm taking this video, so I just recorded this just, a couple minutes ago, basically. And this is what we're going to motion track. It should be pretty cool, because although the shot is really boring, and it looks stupid and dumb, it's going to be really cool. I think it'll be cool. Got big plans for you. Okay. So, I'm going to set up a project folder over here on my other screen. Ooh, what to call this project? Should just call it Minecraft 2. Let's see here. Minecraft 2. Minecraft 2. There we go. Okay, now I can have a nice little project folder. This is going to be scene 1. Bam, there we go. And this is going to be raw image. Okay, there we go. Now I got a file path all set up, so now I can set up the file path here in Blender, and we're going to quickly make some images extremely fast. I'm going to just set this up, doing some fun file management stuff. Let us see here, Minecraft 2, raw images. Here we go. There we go. And then you don't need a name. There we go. No compression, no alpha. Turn that stuff off. Just make PNGs. And yep, full resolution. And ooh, wait a second. How much free space? Okay, I got 160 gigabytes left of free space. Okay, render animation. Here we go. We're making frames. Here we go. Come on, Blender, you can do it. So we're just taking the video, just, you know, recorded the video with OBS, and now we're just using Blender to spit out. We're taking each frame of the video and just making its own PNG, which will then be loaded. So all these images, each one of these is a single image, is all going to be loaded back into Blender, and apparently Blender likes using images more than just using regular video. So, so that is what's happening currently on the screen. If anyone has any questions about anything, I could not be maybe looking so far. It doesn't look like anyone said anything. If there is someone who's watching and you feel so inclined, if you want to post a message just so I can make sure that chat is working and that, you know, I'm not just speaking to an infinite void. Because I haven't done this. Oh, people are definitely saying things. Okay. Let me refresh on my end. Sorry about that if people are saying things. Oh my gosh. Wow, people are saying a lot of stuff. Wow, I was just sitting here like, you know. Wow, I'm sorry for everyone who was just sitting here. I had a blank screen. Sorry for that. I am gonna have a tree falling over. So I'm going back through and reading everything that I missed. This is actually a good opportunity to go back. Thank you, Nicholas. I'm glad you like my videos. I'm just glad that people watch. I mean, if you've ever posted videos to YouTube, it's usually you post it and then, you know, oh, it might get like 100 views, you know, and then that's kind of it. Yep, feel free to treat this as a very slow, unedited tutorial. I guess. Do I have a Discord server? No. Because I don't. I just haven't done that yet. How long does it take to make these? Depending on what I'm doing. So this shot here, which should be done rendering, I think, yeah, like right now. So a lot of these shots. So the Minecraft video, which I'm sure most people are familiar with, that was 40 hours of work to do those 3 shots, because there's the 3 different clips, and so each one of those is its own scene in Blender. And so you know, that doesn't count the baking, or, you know, baking the fluid or rendering the images, because I can just have that go overnight. I don't really count that as work. What do you use for world lighting? Oh, I feel really bad because I'm really slow at reading, so I feel bad. What do you use for world lighting? I don't know. What do you mean by that? At least here in these images, I'm using a Fullbright resource pack. So it's vanilla textures, but everything is evenly lit. It probably doesn't really matter because I recorded this during the daytime, so everything should be pretty much fully lit. But if we were in a cave, this image would be full bright. It would be like every single block has its own torch. Yep, I'm just catching up more with chat. Apologies, everyone. I am not good at this. I have well, so the animation is going to be a tree falling over. That sounds really uninteresting when I put it like that, but it should be pretty cool. I'm gonna try doing a bunch of different tricks that I haven't done before. Can you use motion tracking for shading? You can. I'm going to not. For this shot, I'm going to end up not using the video to texture the environment like I did in all the videos that I've shown so far. Those environments in Blender are textured with the video itself. Oh, he didn't see my Minecraft 2 Electric Boogaloo. Well, I read that comment, so you can be happy. You have about a... Oh, okay. Yes, people are... Sorry, I'm... This is... Oh, wow. I am really, really far behind. I'm sorry if I didn't get to read your comment. That's my fault. I didn't watch... I didn't have chat actually active for the first 6 minutes, so apologies for that. Link to the Fullbright texture pack. Just look up Fullbright texture or Fullbright resource pack in Google. That's how I found it. It's just download a vanilla thing. Can you export from Minecraft your movement and skip the movement data to skip tracking? I could if there's a mod that does that, but I'm not currently aware of one that does. I know that there is a replay like recording thing that lets you record basically like a spectator cam, which looks pretty cool, but that I don't know if that outputs like a path that Blender can use. Man, chat is going... I'm just gonna say it again. I suck at reading, so I'm not... I'm compelled to read each one of these, but it's very difficult. I just watched a video on Euclidean World Engine. I was wondering if motion tracking could be done. That is a good question, and that would depend on the video. Sorry, I can't give more. Let's see here. Try to track Minecraft footage today. Blender's auto track. No luck. You have ideas? What do you... I'm going to start motion tracking this. I know I don't know what to expect from live streaming. So I'm just going to go to I'm just going to move on and make a new project. I will try to read comments as I go rather than just sitting here. I think I would just be sitting here the entire time, just only reading comments and not. I'm guessing people actually want to see, something interesting happen. What are your specs? I have a i7 from like 5 years ago, and I have a RTX 2070. Can you do it on 4 gigs of RAM? Oh, sorry, you're responding to someone else. What's used for a Realm thumbnail? I'm guessing you're talking about the servers or the automate. I am not familiar with Realms. Can you say hello to Mark? Hello, Mark. Is it hard to learn Blender? No, there's so many tutorials. And what I would say is if you really want to learn how to use... So, in case anyone doesn't know, Blender is perfectly free. It's like free forever. You can't pay for it if you want to. Of course, you can always donate. But Blender is perfectly free, and there's so many tutorials that you can follow along with on YouTube, and that are also free, that it just seems like the logical choice for any art. Do you have a comp sci background? No. I went to school for mechanical drafting. And if you don't know what mechanical drafting is, that's okay. Apologies for anyone who wanted to see stuff get done here. I'm keep getting distracted by how many people are posting. Yes. Also, so if you have Steam, you can just download Blender for free, which is great. I'm really glad they did that, because that's actually what I'm running right now. I'm running Blender off of Steam. Okay. Let's focus here for a second here, so I can actually get something interesting up on screen rather than just a gray box. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this is right. Oh no, that is just a single image. That's not right. Let's try that again. Will the stream be available? I think I can make it available. If people want, I can put it up for you to review later. Oh gosh, I hate pineapple in any situation. So there you go. I would argue that this is worse than a default cube. This is like, well, at least the default cube is like, oh, you know, I know what's going on. This is like, what is all this garbage on my screen? If someone's just coming in and they don't know what's going on. Sorry, I'm trying to find... There's a surprisingly large number of things to juggle that I'm currently doing. And I'm definitely not used to live streaming. Let's see here. Let's try loading that again. Ooh, here we go. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Open clip. Should that work? Oh, that works! Yes. Okay. There we go. We actually have the image sequence loaded. See if I can remember how to VoIP all of this. Oh, nope. That's not what I wanted. Oh, you're gonna be annoying, aren't you? Join areas. There we go. Why is this in your recommended? You know, people always meme about the YouTube algorithm. I don't know why YouTube keeps recommending my videos. It's absolutely crazy. Just unreal. I think 5 weeks ago I had 90 subscribers. And those 90 subscribers was from when I made like Fistful of Frags videos from like 6 years ago. So, you know, I couldn't tell you why. Blender isn't hard. You just need to take baby steps. is what I would say. So follow a tutorial, like step by step, is what I would say if you're really interested in learning Blender. And then you kind of hit this like critical mass of knowledge where you're like, oh, you know what? I think I can maybe try and make something that's maybe a little bit different from this tutorial. And just even doing that, you'll learn a lot. I should really set seam frames, prefetch. Okay, so now we're just loading the video. While that loads, is it possible to add a monkey head in the middle of the field? Yes, it is. You love my videos. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Man, we have a lot of... There's a lot of people in here. This is a very pleasant surprise. This is great. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, again, sorry if you're asking a question and it's getting blown out of the water by everyone. I put questions welcome as in, you know, I thought this was gonna be. I mean, it's really difficult to tell how many people were gonna be here because I haven't done this before. So I was expecting like, oh, like, you know, 8 people, and, you know, maybe someone asks a question or something like that. So apologies if I can't get to your question. Consider making a step-by-step tutorial. So that video that I posted on Sunday, which is the behind-the-scenes thing with the split screen down the middle, I really didn't enjoy making that video, but I made it because you know, if someone is really inclined to, if someone's kind of in the know of Blender at least a little bit, the video should give you a good enough idea of like what to look up to maybe help you on your, you know, your adventures. So making a step-by-step tutorial, I'm not opposed to it. It's just I'm not personally I don't like making like it's that video that I posted for the behind the scenes took about as long as a normal, like a Blender project with like dozens of hours, just because it was almost like when you have to write a paper for school, you sit at your desk and, you know, and you're like, okay, I gotta focus. And you sit there and you don't actually work on it because you really don't want to. That was what making the video was like. I just personally don't like recording voice lines. Is all. Okay, enough about that. Stop ranting about that. My first experience in your live streaming. Yep. Well, this is also pretty much my first experience live streaming as well. I did live stream on Twitch like many years ago, but again, that was like, you know, oh, there's like 3 people. That's pretty cool. What is being tracked on the Portal project? If it's the portal meeting the walls, how does Blender recognize the... Okay, you know what? This is actually... Because I didn't know how many people were going to get in here. So those of you that are here, I'm going to save this. I'll come back to it. But we can take a quick break and just open up the project file and I can show you kind of, you know, interesting things, I guess. Let me just save this real quick here so I don't lose all this valuable progress of this image sequence that I loaded. Minecraft 2. Okay. And this is chop the tree. Okay, chop the tree. Save. Okay, let's is there polls? I know there's polls on Twitch. Can I do a poll? Nope. Doesn't look like it. Okay, wait, maybe you can. Nope. Okay. Just checking. Let's open. Let's open. Okay, do people want to see the Minecraft one or do they want to see the Portal one? Because those are kind of the most asked about for like complexity and like how does all that work. So insert your spam chat now. It's looking yeah, so the Portal one is more complex, but I'm guessing that, you know, there's a lot of people here that also would like to see. Man, it is really... Hey, you can't no, you can't spam. Hey, you can't just put in the same thing over and over again. That's cheating. Okay, maybe we'll look at the Minecraft one first, and then we'll look at the Portal one. So we'll get I'll talk about a little bit of each. How about that? Just so everyone's happy. Straw poll. Oh yeah, true. See, I'm not even used to doing any of this stuff. Oh, look at this. This is a pleasant like little. So this is what the scene looks like without any shading. And for those of you that don't even know what you're looking at, let's give some context. I hope this works. Yep, it's probably going to look like poo, because this isn't going to be the final... This isn't going to be the final render. This is... So it's loading the textures and stuff. And... I don't know if it's going to load the lava, actually, because the lava might be too complex for this sort of real-time... So we're looking at this... This is kind of the real-time view. I can turn on the shading view here. So give it a sec. So here's the like the RTX ray tracing view. So this is actually what the final output will look like. But I won't have that on because it goes really slow. See, watch what happens when I scrub through. Oh, takes a while. So I'll just be in the dev mode. Oh yeah, I'll give you I'll show you. So here's the camera. Here's the ginormous camera. If I scrub through time, you can see. So at the beginning of the shot, camera's down here, and then I walk forward through the mine shaft. So you can see that here. So I remade this environment by hand, and I know that there's ways to import geometry straight from a map, but when I made this project, I heard that you could do that, but I was like, I'm not going to worry about it because it's a Minecraft environment, so it's super easy to model by hand. And as for the motion tracking, I did a lot of motion tracking. So each one of these little boxes is basically an area. If I click on this, you can see a zoomed in. So this whole box is what the computer is looking for. And this little reticle in the middle is exactly... This point shouldn't move up or down. This little reticle should stay exactly right where I placed it. The better it stays, the better the tracker is. So even though it transitions to look like this, texture-wise, it actually didn't move. This is actually just kind of a zoomed-in version, because if I now zoom in on this and sort of... I'm going to lock my camera, so now when I scrub through time, we're staring at this point now. You can see that I changed the pattern area, is all that happened. So even if you do that, as long as the point doesn't move, that means that it's a good tracker. And so I did each one of these trackers by hand, just to make sure that they're all good. Did I delete the default cube? I did. Actually, I used the motion tracking workspace, so or the VFX workspace, and I think it does generate a cube, but I think it also generates a default plane, so I think I deleted both of them. Isn't it a lot harder for the trackers since the textures repeat? So if you track a perfect cube, so let's say, let's just say this stone texture right here. If you just track just the stone texture, it's going to have a hard time. Just this one by one surface, but if you track the corner, so the combination of these surfaces, Minecraft is a thing where it randomly rotates and flips textures, and so actually this tracking the corner of this would be almost a guarantee that it's a unique set of pixels to track, at least unique enough that when I click on this, so the inside box is what the pixels it's trying to look for are, and this outside box is how far away to look. So that should give you plenty of detail. I hope that answers your question. That was just something that I found when I did this. Yes. Okay. So how about if you have a question, use the @stickman, because it shows up as a nice bright color that my dumb monkey brain can easily identify. What advice do I have for people looking into getting into this sort of stuff? I would watch Default Cube. He has a really good 4-hour, basically like a full. He goes over everything that you want to know about motion tracking, and that's. I don't think I watched the whole thing. I think I watched 3 of the 4 hours, because then he started talking about object tracking and stuff like that, which I have ended up doing, but I could kind of infer what to do about that. So, what's the whole point of motion tracking all these blocks? Okay, so the whole reason, right, that's a good question. Why are we tracking all these points? If you track enough of these points, what ends up happening is you take... So using a whole bunch of math that I don't even understand, the computer is able to use a whole bunch of math and take each one of these points that... these points are just two-dimensional on this flat screen. But if you take enough of these points, somehow using math, it can infer... it can solve the camera motion and basically generate a 3D motion path through a 3D environment just from looking at how do all of these 2D points scooch around on the screen. I don't know how all that works, but you don't need to, because you track enough, you hit the solve camera motion, and you get a 3D path through your environment. So that's the point of tracking these individual points. Again, sorry if I can't read your question. There's kind of a lot. How'd you come up with our channel name? So like many people that have dumb names, I played a game in middle school. There was Stick Combat Arena or something. It was made by the people who did Stick RPG, if anyone even knows what I'm talking about. They made a multiplayer top-down Stickman Arena shooter thing, I think in Flash, or maybe it didn't use Flash, but I really like Stickmen, and I draw them all the time. And I really wanted to have the username Stickman, but the problem is you're playing a game. I was trying to play a game, Stick Combat Arena or whatever it's called, and the username Stickman was already taken, believe it or not. And so surprisingly, Stickman with a 5 wasn't taken. So I just did that, and that's been my username ever since. So that was probably in 2007, maybe 2008. How hard is it to animate mobs with Blender? I would say to do a convincing job, like I did for this video, I would say it would be pretty difficult, but I also don't know because I haven't tried. That would be a difficult one. I have yet to have a good answer for that. How do you give it shaders after it? Okay, so this is a big thing that people were wondering. That was a really good question. Thank you for reminding me. Add a timer for messages so you don't need to read like Eminem. That's funny. Okay, let's go over how. Okay, so here's the thing. So if I didn't do a good enough job explaining in that video that I made on Sunday, this video is straight what I recorded from Minecraft. This is exactly what the screen showed in Minecraft. But if I go to, if I just pick a random frame here and I turn on shading, so this is like the final output image, and you can kind of see that's loading in here. This shading is very different from from the shading in Minecraft, and that was generated from using tricks. So the whole, oh god, this is gonna get complicated. This is the reason why I didn't go over this in that video, is because this one actually isn't that bad. Some of the other ones are much worse than this. So this is, if you're not familiar with this is almost like this is programming. It's a visual way of programming shaders. So I'll try to explain it the best that I can. This here is like the default. Let me turn on shading mode. Here we go. Okay, so I'm looking at this like wall texture and all these surfaces. This is using this material. So what's happening is I'm taking the exact frame that we're currently on the image sequence. So basically the frame of the video, and then we are saying that color, so you can see the colors being transferred here. So the color of that image should be now placed onto, here's basically like the Big Papa shader. This makes things realistic, basically, is how you can think of it. So use realistic lighting and use ray tracing and everything. The base color of this material should be what the base color of the video is. And then on top of that, and so you can actually see like there's some like height differences here, because we're getting some highlights. Like if I zoom, oh, here's the cool thing. Oh, that's not good. If I zoom in like really close, this is what's cool about being in the you can see that there's like highlights. So there's like this part is bumped up, and you can see that there's a highlight here from this part being raised. So I'm sure some people are familiar with normal maps, which are basically a way of faking very small detail. The normal map is being generated from the video itself. So I'm taking, let me zoom back out here. I'm taking the image sequence, and I'm gonna splice in here. So this is well, you can't see it because it's all stone, but this is black and white. So I've turned this shader to just be the black and white image with no extra stuff. And then what we're doing is we're feeding into a bump node. This is probably gonna look crazy. Yep. So it looks crazy, but what these like weird colors mean is like what direction is the surface facing, and you can see that there's these small details that are getting generated from the black and white image. I know that probably doesn't make much sense. So then it gets fed into the Big Papa shader here. So you can see then we're taking the normal information and we're feeding into the normal of the make things look cool shader, and then it uses math to figure out what that should look like. So yeah, that's really the extent of the trick. I mean, it's really cool that that trick actually works. And like I said in the video, the downside is that if I go back to kind of baby view here, if I look at this world, so here's the mine shaft, you can see This trick doesn't work anymore because we're not in the exact perspective of the video, because the video is just being layered onto this environment. So you can kind of see how this trick doesn't work if the camera and the video don't line up. And I know that there's ways around that, but but yeah, that's the trick that I use. It doesn't need to be any more complicated for the stuff that I do because I don't have any external cameras looking in different perspectives. So that's how that shader works. Let's see here. I'm now currently reading comments. So you want to learn Blender, but you don't like watching long videos. I can get that. I would pick short tutorials, and I would follow the short tutorial along with the person in the video, and that should help you maybe be less bored and anxious while you're watching a tutorial. So I'd recommend Default Cube on YouTube. He has a lot of those sort of tutorials that are fairly short and to the point, and you learn a lot from each one of his little videos. So yeah, that's kind of the lava scene. Oh yeah, and then if you want to go really crazy, this lava texture is entirely procedurally generated. So I'm using nothing but math to generate how the lava looks, and that kind of goes into some major shader trickery. Yeah, Ian Hubert's also good. I haven't watched much of his stuff. I think I've watched maybe like one of his videos. But Ian Hubert's also good. But yeah, this texture is, or this material is the reason why this shot took like 14. So this whole image sequence took, I think, like 14 hours to render, because this lava is just so mathematically annoying to calculate. So I'll have to do like a breakdown. Again, if this is kind of a tweaked version of Default Cube's tutorial on how to do a lava shader. I've just added some extra stuff onto his thing, if anyone's interested in that. So, would it be easier just to animate game movements in Blender? It would be easy, but I think it would also look bad compared to the actual, because the way that you move around, or trying to puppet the way that the camera is supposed to move to make it look like it's actually from the game, is not the same as just recording yourself playing the game and then motion tracking that. So for this project, I didn't import the map directly from Minecraft. I recreated this each part of the video I recreated. I modeled it by hand, which sounds more impressive than it is because it's Minecraft. It's super easy to... I'm not even good at modeling. Like, I basically don't do any modeling. Everything is fixed to the grid. That's super easy. So, show us some things you've modeled, if you really have any. I modeled the meat cleaver, if anyone's seen the Planet Chop video. Let me see if I can open that. Let's see if I can... That's probably the most complicated thing that I've ever modeled. Planet Chop, here we go. Okay. And what are we doing here? There we go. Okay, so here's the knife. Should probably turn on the cool view. There we go. So both these textures are procedurally generated. If we get really close, you can see the, I don't know how well this shows up on the stream, but you can see the, I tried to make some braised, or that's not the right word. You know, knives look like that if you look really close. So that's all procedural. Like if I zoom in here, I can change, so there it's less rough, whereas I can turn the roughness like way up, and then you can barely even see any of that detail. Make it look that's a different look. So yeah, you can change every aspect of this texture. But yeah, this is probably the most complicated thing that I've modeled in Blender. Yeah, so I don't know. Someone wanted to see the most complicated, or a thing that I've modeled. This is probably the most impressive thing. I'm not super big into the whole modeling stuff. What are my specs? I have a RTX 2070. That's probably the most important thing. Because when you use... And then I get to use... Since I have RTX, Blender supports that hardware that's on my graphics card. So it goes even faster than it normally would. So like this is loading pretty quick. You can see how many cycles is making. Streaming Blender. I mean, in Blender, I'm not actually doing things that are really that intense. So, I see Foilers asked, what's my favorite social security number? I'd have to think about that, you know? That's not something that I can... That's a big question. That's like, you know, do you like, you know, red or blue, you know? That's not something you can just answer right off the bat. And with that, we're going to go back to actual motion tracking. Actually, no, I said I was going to show Portal. Whoopsies. Just kidding. We're gonna look at the Portal one, and I'll give the brief overview of kind of how the Portal. Where the heck is it? There it is. Wait, no, that was it. All right. So now this environment I also modeled by hand. I didn't import anything. So here you can see this is the camera again. So you see the goo goes in the one portal, and I need to turn back on. So here's the big trick. This is the big trick. This is one. I'm gonna guess that. I hope that you've seen the Portal video. If you haven't, I'll give you the brief synopsis. Oh wow, that looks really bad. What happened there? I don't have my thing set up. Nope. You need to do that. There we go. Fixed it. Okay. So, gel comes out of the gel thing. Gel goes through the blue portal, comes out. That's basically the whole thing. But it gets pretty tricky pretty quick. So some important things I don't do is I don't ever shoot the portal gun again. Because if we go and look in Blender, when I go through, so if we watch this camera here, actually, it's probably easier if I'm from this perspective. So I look at the fluid, and then I walk over and I press the button, and I jump through the portal. That's probably not coming through very well. So here I am. I'm gonna go through the portal. Whoa! I'm going through the portal, and what ends up happening is I come out, and there isn't like a jump or a cut to the other side of the room. If I pause this and zoom out, we can see that there is just a copy of the room underneath the one. So the camera now is here, whereas before it goes through the portal, you can see that the camera, if I rotate and flip, so here's the camera. Camera's here. So that's the important thing, is that I don't shoot the portal gun again. and the geometry, that geometry is static. Not saying that you couldn't do a shot where you know, you shoot a portal and then you'd have to swap out geometry. So you could totally do that. I just, you know, this was already ambitious enough. So the other thing that happens that's pretty tricky is how does the fluid go through the portal? Because I think that the straightforward, easy to do thing would be have the portal come out of the gel dispenser. I'll turn back on. Yeah, this view's fine. So gel comes out of the gel dispenser. I mean, the obvious thing to do would be just have this gel go through a hole in the floor and then delete it. And then just time it so as the gel goes through this portal, it comes out this side. But what I wanted was the gel, exactly how the gel comes through this portal, it should look exactly like the portal is coming out of this orange one. So what I did was I just did, let me turn this off. So here's the actual simulation. It's all, oh, again, textures break when you don't look at them right. You can see that there's just one, I just did one simulation. And actually to see it even better, I might go in wireframe mode. Yep, there we go. So here's the gel, and I'm gonna look at it from isometric mode here. So the gel comes out of the dispenser, and this green line here is basically the floor. And it goes through the hole in the floor, and it continues, but when it goes through the hole in the floor, the gel is affected by gravity. When it goes through the portal, the gravity gets flipped. So then as it goes through, it does kind of that fountain thing, because it's getting, the gel on this side is actually getting pulled up. And so then all I have to do is take this fluid simulation and then double it. So that's all I'm doing here is I'm just taking an array of count 2, and I'm just showing a flipped rotated version of, so you can see here. So again, this upside, this is where the camera starts, in this upper area. So as the animation plays, it goes through the portal, and you know, you can see the camera's now looking at this over here as it goes through, and it rushes, you know, and it does its thing. But one thing that I wish is that, because when you record this, you can't tell what you're actually going to be looking at. I wish that I was looking at the fluid that rushes back, so you can actually see from this perspective. So it does the fountain thing, it rushes back down, and then there's all this cool motion that's happening over here, but I'm not looking at that. So from the, you know, so here's the camera's perspective. I'm not looking at, and you can see through the floor here, there's a bunch of cool stuff that's happening, but I'm not looking at that because it's difficult to tell actually what you're looking at because you don't get to see the fluid when you're recording, because all of that is added in post. And then I press the button again, I spawn more fluid, the camera jumps through, and as you can see, there is like a little bit of a jump, and that has to do with how the geometry kind of changes. Like you can like watch this basically watch the copy over here on the left. As I go through the portal, I do shift it, but that's just so this copy now lines up with the this underside room. So there you go. That's I think that's most of the tricks. But yeah, so I kind of, before I even recorded anything in Portal, I imagined that I could do something like this before I even recorded anything, because you don't want to record something and then ask yourself, wait, how do I even make it look good in the first place? Because as you do the project, you're going to run into all sorts of speed bumps along the way. So just big concept thing I kind of had figured out before I even recorded. So yeah. What type of tracking did I use? So I mostly used location rotation. And that's just because I tracked, if I turn off all this crap. Oh, just kidding. I need that to see. If I turn this off, there we go. Here's kind of the crappy view, but whatever. So trackers, actually, I can go into the motion tracking workspace. Here we go. Oh, I'm on the camera. There we go. Okay, so here's the actual... Oh, and I have to turn off 3D markers. There we go. Okay, so here you can see all of my trackers that I used. I I don't know what's going on with these. You can see these ones that are just kind of floating here. Like as I scrub through, they're not moving. I don't know why. Couldn't tell you. I think it's a bug, but I have yet to figure that out. You can see these active ones that are moving around. Because I was tracking such weird points, I ended up using location rotation. Normally what I would do is I would use a tracking type called perspective, which I don't know how to explain it. So if you had a whole bunch of, like if you took like a texture from Minecraft, I mean like all of the trackers that I used, I think for that Minecraft video, I think they were all perspective, just because perspective works really well when you have a wide FOV, and you're moving around a lot, because things on the edge of your camera get distorted a lot, and perspective helps deal with that. And I think it's the most accurate tracker. It's kind of scary how accurate the perspective tracker is. But unfortunately, with just, if I click this, so this is what the computer's trying to look for over here. If you imagine that this is, actually, I can kind of demonstrate. So if I make this, so this inside area is the search area, so that's what's being displayed over here. If I unlock it so I can actually edit it. If I scale this up in size, you can see off to the right, it's changing over there. When I scale up and down like this, not a whole lot is changing. I mean, obviously, us as humans can tell that, it's getting bigger and smaller. But when it comes to the computer, it's kind of hard for that to tell what's happening. So what ends up happening with the perspective tracker is every frame, now if you look back to the center of the screen, the perspective tracker, each time it tracks a frame, it kind of gets bigger and smaller chaotically, because it can't really tell, it can't really tell what it's doing. Whereas if I were to track maybe like this, so if you look off to the right again, tracking this, I think perspective-wise would work well. But the problem is that this is now, if I kind of save that position, this is a big area, and perspective is already slow. So you don't want to track a ginormous area. Plus, you'd have to make the search area smaller, just so you'd have a reasonable time tracking that, and your computer won't be too angry at you. So that's that question. Sorry if I keep going off on these tangents. Some mods for the chat. I don't know. What's happening? It doesn't look that bad. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, those are the big tricks. Now I will go back to doing some, if you want to stick around for some real life motion tracking. Let's do chop the tree. Okay. Can you show us the tracking part through the portal? Check live chat instead of top chat. Why would I do that? I'm not gonna do that. I already have enough comments to read. I wasn't expecting this many people. I was expecting there'll be like 10 people. That'd be my guess. I can show the trackers going through the portal, sure. That is the camera again. Here we go. So yeah, that was definitely the difficult part about this, was so you can see I'm approaching the portal, and the moment that I can start seeing these points to track, I start tracking them as soon as I possibly can. Trying to get as much data as I can, because as soon as I go through this portal, I'm going to lose all reference to the world that I'm currently in. And so you can just see how many trackers I spammed to try and reduce the error as much as I could. Because I have to tracking all of this, tracking points that are far away, tracking points that are close. See how many I spammed over here on this wall. And then yeah, so that's what the trackers look like going through the portal. Just basically a lot of them, and putting as many down as needed, basically. Yeah, so that's that. How did I make the fluid splash out the player? So after you generate your camera path, you can then bake out you can then basically just bind in a fluid collider to the camera and then do the fluid simulation. And then now the camera interacts, the camera basically now has a hitbox, and can push the fluid around. So that's how I did that. Okay, we're gonna go back to motion tracking. The Minecraft. Here we go. Here's some new footage. Never before seen footage unless you were here at the very beginning. Gotta mute for a second here. Sorry about that, I'm back. Okay, so we're going to do some motion tracking. So I got this all loaded up. A lot of this I forget because I kind of set this once and then I don't have to come back and mess with this again. Just kind of type in some numbers here. Definitely going to go with perspective tracking. What was your method of choice for exporting the Minecraft world model? So far I haven't done that. I've never exported the Minecraft world to Blender. I've just always made it by hand. But for this shot, so this, you can see how much geometry there is in this shot. I'm gonna export my Minecraft world to Blender. I'm gonna try something new for this. Okay, so I usually just start at the beginning. Okay. And I guess a logical thing to do would be to track the stump here, although the crosshair kind of gets in the way, which is a part of the trouble of this shot here. Let's see here, how do I want to handle this? I guess I'll just place, well, let's go forward in the scene. Well, let's actually prefetch these images in here to load them back in. Okay, so now, yeah, there we go. That's much smoother. Oh, but you can see how much the crosshair gets in the way of the log, which kind of sucks. That's the thing I was going to plan on motion tracking. I guess I'll just pick a point that looks okay. So I'm going to just kind of pick an area kind of in front of the log here, and I'm going to make it big. And I'm going to track backwards in time, and we're going to see how well this works. I'm going to pick kind of a big area. We're going to track back in time. Oh, this might be too big of an area. Or did I... Oh, it's still prefetching. Never mind. Stop prefetching. There we go. So there we go. Now we're motion tracking. This is real motion tracking. Motion tracking is happening. So you can see it. The search area is getting warped from the perspective track. Oh no, is the crosshair gonna get? Is it gonna go over my? Better not go over my area. Don't get in my zone. So I'm gonna pause it midway, and I'm just gonna change the search areas just so it runs a little faster. There we go. And so you can keep track of. What I should have done was I made this tracker is pick a specific point that's easy to keep track of, because I kind of didn't do that. I just kind of placed it wherever, but we'll see what happens. So I'll continue tracking. Oh, we hit the edge. If we go back, we hit in the next frame here, we hit the edge of this motion tracker. So the search area was not big enough. So then just make it a little bigger. And oh, you can see the HUD now. Just keep tracking as far as you can. Let's see here. Okay. Let's continue the track. I think I just hit the edge of the search area. So you can see how long perspective tracking takes. Question, what am I trying to do? I am trying to motion track some Minecraft footage. So currently I'm just following one single point throughout, so you can see how it's stabilized like this, so that means that it's doing a good job. Unfortunately, the crosshair passes over this area, so I'm just going to scooch it just to see if I can kind of get past the crosshair here. Let's see how well that goes. Nope. Oh man, it really... Oh no, the crosshair really goes over that area. Darn. Well, it's good while it lasted. We'll see if we might need to come back to this one. But I can always track it forward in time and see how far I can go forward in time. Probably not very far. Okay, and you can see it stopped because now there's particles in the way. And actually, so as soon as you can see here on the track, there are these oak particles are getting in the way. I'm going to clear the track that has those, that's going to have those particles in the way. Let's see here. I'm gonna turn up the correlation just so it's a little bit more picky. And that's as good as that tracker's going to be, so I'm going to lock it. Try tracking some trees in the background. Yeah, I think so. I can try, at the very least. Yeah, actually that'd be pretty good. There's this tree in the background here. Let's see how well this goes. So we rotate a little bit. And you can always just grab the edges of the search area to just kind of, you know, you want to make sure the thing you track is actually flat and not, you know, for example, like if the edge goes off here, I'm going to be tracking some background stuff, which is not good. You should make sure it's nice and flat. And let us track... Let's go forwards in time. Just kidding. Search area is not big enough. Now go forwards. So... you just make the search area bigger again. Hopefully it doesn't go too slow. Okay, I think at this point I can safely reduce the search area size. And then... okay, and then you can see it hits the edge. So... that track's okay. So now we'll go backwards in time. it would be possible to convert the replay mod keyframes into Blender. Maybe. It didn't look like with the replay mod that, you could, at least from what I saw, you could actually... Oh, uh-oh. Some sneaky business happened here while I was reading chat. It didn't look like the replay mod, you could even view, a camera from the perspective of the player, at least from what I saw. So even if you could, I don't know if that mod in particular could handle exactly what, you know, I would want it to do. What am I gonna do? Okay, so yeah, the plan with the shot is that I walk up to this log, and there's actually, imagine that there's actually an entire tree here. And as soon as I break it, then the tree will become a physics object and fall over. That's the plan. You can see now I'm walking around and looking at it. So that's the idea. So it's not gonna be fluid physics, but it'll be a little bit different. And I always try to do something a little bit different whenever I make a thing in Blender. Okay. Okay, so we ran into a problem here where the, oh, I want to lock my camera, actually. There we go. So we're going to reduce the search area because it kept jumping to the... Oh, and now it can't go forward. It kept jumping... Yeah, see, I'm going to stop it there. It keeps jumping here. You can see that it's actually changing the area that we're tracking, which is not good. So let's see if we can remedy that. So you can see there's a big jump there. So I'm going to just cut the unwanted frames. Just contemplating my actions here. I'm wondering if maybe, now that we've kind of moved away, if I can now just get away with tracking this whole surface here. I think would probably be the best thing. Just so it can't jump. There's no other repeating texture for it to jump to. This is the whole texture, so let's see how well that works. Oh, just kidding, the crosshair. Again with the crosshair. It's going to be a reoccurring theme, I feel. I'm going to call that tracker defeated for now. That'll be that whole tracker. There we go. Now I locked it. Thank you, Fuller. Yeah. I'm new to all this, so sorry for not being super good with the whole chat thing. I'm trying to... I don't know how well this is gonna go, but I'd say overall it's going pretty well. Did people send you mean comments or DMs when they thought the Minecraft mod was real? No, because you can't really send DMs. There is no DMs on YouTube. So, although I mean, there's plenty of angry small children that are like, "This is not real." It's like, yep. You're right. It's not real. Okay. The white tree seems easy to pick. Yes, that is true. There's going to be a lot of contrast, but yeah, it actually seems like it'd be a good. It doesn't look like the crosshair goes over that, so you're right. I will pick the birch here as a tracking. I'll try and pick this point. We'll see how that goes. So again, when you always pick your trackers, you're going to try and pick a position that you can easily, like, that you, the human, can easily identify. So if the tracker has trouble, you can put it back on course. Alright, so that's... And I'm just making this extra big just so it can't... The tracker itself can't jump. If it tries to find the other parts of this oak, or this birch texture. And we're going to track backwards in time. That's pretty quick. Oh man, that went really fast. And then you can see there it stopped because it lost confidence in what it was tracking. But it looks like it did a good job. But I don't like how this part of the world goes over the tracker there. So I'm actually going to back up before it crosses over, and I'm going to cut all that tracked area and then redo the track like this, I think. Hopefully that should be better. Oh, just kidding, the search area wasn't big enough. Be a little bit bigger. Let's see here. I don't know why it stopped here. Oh, it's not really not liking that. For some reason it can't, it's not liking that for some reason. Can always do the old, place it manually. So here I'm gonna place it manually. And then review. Yeah, that looks pretty well lined up between the two frames. And then I'm gonna continue on. Oh, okay, and then we made it to the end of the shot. So that's the end of the shot. And it looks like it's stabilized okay. Okay, now we're gonna go forwards in time. Okay, and that's how far I made it forwards in time. Oh, it's doing such a good job. Oh man, it made it real far. Made it a real far. Cool. Oh, actually, I want to back up before that this edge got in front of the texture again. So I just want to back up before that happens. Move the pattern up, just so that can't happen. And let's continue the track. Oh. Ooh, I accidentally cut the wrong direction. There we go. I cleared the track in the wrong track. Cleared all the past track and not the forward track. Oops. I went forward, or went backwards in time. I'm gonna go forwards. Oh, that grass is getting in the way, though. Well, we'll see how it... Oh, there's a big jump. There's a big, large lurch in camera... Oh! There we go. Okay, I guess it just needed to be a little bit bigger. Oh, look how far it's making it. making it real good. It's gonna hit the ends, or maybe it'll hit the end. Yeah, you can. I mean, I'm not gonna stop anyone from doing this. Yeah, if you want to try doing this, you know, I think Blender is a good. Just if you record, just make sure you hit F1 and turn off your HUD, is what I would say. Just because you know, already I'm running into problems with because I have my crosshair. That's the big thing, is that the crosshair is going to get in the way. But yeah, okay, so that's a good tracker. That tracker goes the whole shot, which is excellent. All right. I'm using YouTube moderation tools. Sorry about that. Okay, so we have one tracker that goes through the whole shot, which is good. Maybe should look for more trackers that last the whole shot. Oh, actually, so I'm looking at this tree tracker over here. So please listen to what people are saying about the crosshair. Okay. I'm reading. Sorry. I'm not very good at multitasking here. What are people saying about the crosshair? Something about it being inverted. Oh, yeah, I mean, I know that the crosshair is, and it is whatever the color was, but just inverted. I get that. But it would just be easier just to remove the crosshair. Because you'd have to, I guess, render out each image and just have that area be inverted. Which, like, you could do that, or you could just record without the crosshair. Add mode tracker. I don't know. Oh, more trackers before recording the gameplay. Because I didn't know how hard. I don't know how hard it would be to track this. I'm guessing I'm going to use a lot of the grass here, because the grass looks really repetitive, but to the computer, it's actually a pretty good tracking source. Yeah, so I'm saying, so people are saying you could reverse the color. You could, you know, just mask just the crosshair and say invert the color of this area. When you go to render the image sequence, which I'm guessing you could do, but you might as well just not, you know, I don't know, just turn off the crosshair. That'd be an easier solution than trying to figure that out. Yes, I've purchased flip fluids, so that's what I use in all my videos, is flip fluids. Oh man, that crosshair really lingers over this poor tracker. This poor little tracker. Let's see here. Alright, so we have 3 trackers. So after these particles clear up, this would actually be a pretty good, I think a pretty good spot to track. Nope, no, the HUD gets in the way. Again, this, I need to, I don't know why this is showing up, because this is a disabled tracker, so this shouldn't be showing up. I'm wondering if this is a bug in this current version of Blender. What about using some of the clouds? So I wouldn't want to use the clouds because the clouds actually are moving. So when you motion track, you want to make sure that you use something that stays still, so that way it can do its magical math and figure out and reverse engineer where the camera is. Because if you try to motion track something that's moving, it'll just make it very, very confused and unhappy. But if the clouds didn't move, so I don't know if I turned on a mod or something that made the clouds not move, then that would be a good thing to track. How long I've been using Blender? I've really only started using it like this year, and I've only been doing this motion tracking stuff for, just started a couple months ago, basically. Like if you look at when I posted that Team Fortress 2 the Blood video, like that was my first time ever motion tracking anything. Yeah, I really should have turned the particles off when I recorded this. I'm wondering if... Let's see here. I'm wondering if I want to... Because I haven't put much progress into this. If I want to re-record this, but maybe just replace a bunch of this grass with like a brick or something, like stone or the red brick, because that would have really high contrast. Or I could even have like, yeah, there's a lot more that I could do, because when I recorded this, I was kind of half thinking that I was going to use this video and project it onto the environment, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that for this video. Yeah, so for this, I might consider using a different texture pack that is just really high contrast. I don't know. No, that would be, yeah. I'm wondering if I want to re-record this. Maybe do some... I might have to think about this some more. And maybe record without... I was thinking... So the whole reason why I recorded with the HUD, and I keep saying maybe don't record this with the HUD, is because I wanted to potentially object track, or try to object track the axe. Like if we go frame by frame and just look at the axe and how that moves. It would be really, like, there'd be a lot of hand tracking. Oh, that, okay. When it goes perfectly flat like this, because what I was watching was this corner right here, was what I was watching. So this little intersection, like, this would be a good thing to track, but then when it goes really flat like that, like this, you don't get to see it anymore, especially here. So maybe that's not as doable as I thought. So maybe I would want to re-record this, but just without the HUD and follow my own advice. Put some torches or flowers near the log. I would want to use flat surfaces. So what I would do is because I'm not planning on using this video to texture the environment. I'm planning on importing this world directly into Blender, so I don't have to model anything. And if I do that, then I can just use the textures that get imported instead of using the video. And what I could do is like just replace the ground with like bricks or something. Just a really high contrast, very easy thing to track, and that would make tracking way easier. I think that might be the way to go. Luckily, recording things in Minecraft is super easy, and that's not the hard part. So, I think I'll stop. I won't do any more tracking here, just because I don't think I'm going to use this footage. I think I'm going to re-record this and maybe try this again. But this was just kind of a... I always like trying new things. Every time I make a video, I try to do something just different, whether it's more complicated or difficult, or just trying a new strategy for doing something. So I might... Sorry, I'm reading chat. Sorry, there's so much ums and uhs. But, also, part of the reason why I did this is because I've never streamed on here before on YouTube. So, you know, having this many viewers is a very welcome surprise. So thank you everyone who who showed up. That's pretty cool. And thank you for I guess watching my videos and stuff. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I guess there's not much more that I can do with this footage. It's going to be more just kind of boring, you know, maybe trying different stuff in Minecraft. I might do another live stream when I have footage that I know that I wanna move forward with. But yeah, this stream was half just kind of like testing the waters of like, you know, what is even gonna happen if I live stream, because I don't know. Like I said, I think I said this at the beginning of the stream. Like 5 weeks ago, I had 90 subscribers. So, you know, it's kind of hard to gauge, you know, what's gonna happen if I go live. So, yeah, I guess that's it. I don't have anything more. So when I'm saying and I'm reading, and I am not good at reading, and I wasn't expecting this many people, and I'm compelled to like read all the comments, because normally that's not like too difficult to do, but when you're really bad at reading and there's a lot of comments, I just sit there and go so sorry for so many ums and stopping to and you know, not having anything going on the screen, but you know, I'll try and work on it. Just read and not say well. That's some pretty good advice. I was about to say but I'm not going to. I will be ending the stream here. So if you enjoyed, maybe you know, look out for these random streams in the future where maybe I'll have something more interesting rather than just kind of motion tracking. Maybe I'll do some, you know, maybe streaming while doing the baking process for the fluids, because that's just kind of time consuming and there's not much else that goes on. You know, it's just kind of there's a lot of downtime when you're doing that part of the process. So maybe I'll come back when I have some fluids to render or something like that. Maybe something more interesting to look at. But thank you for coming to the stream. Goodbye.